Hey guys and gals, let's take a look at Mrs. Castillo's Turtle Van by LEGO Dreams. This is set number 71456, contains 434 bricks, retails for $47.99, and this set was provided by the LEGO Group for earlier reviews. So this is essentially what this is. Yeah, it looks like a turtle with a van on its back. And not too bad. Here's the minifigure. So we got Z-Blob, Miss Castillo, Mateo, Zoey, and Grimspawn. Okay, and this is the back of the box. So it's one of these ones where you got two different storylines you can build from. And of course we'll probably stick with the turtle one. I don't know how great this build's going to be because I haven't built it yet. So what am I going to do? I'm going to build it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to take a look. Let's start with our minifigures. Off to the left we have Z-Blob, Mrs. Castillo, Mateo, Zoey, and Grimspawn, and they are a nice set of minifigures. And they pretty much all have double-sided heads, and the print work on their torsos and pants do flow to the back. Except for Mrs. Castillo, she's actually got that big, heavy backpack. They are a nice set of minifigures. Here we have Mrs. Castillo's turtle van, and yes, it does look like a turtle with the legs and the movable head. And yeah, this is a new meaning for an all-terrain vehicle. As you can see, we have a carrot here, so he's meant to see the carrot and go wherever you want to steer him to go. So if you run out of fuel, there you go, you've got leg power. And this thing has a lot of stickers on it. It looks like we got ourselves a kitchen fire here. Maybe that's the extra steam. Here's the back. I like how they use these pipe noodle pieces for the rear bumper. That's pretty cool. And here we got ourselves a little area here with weapons, I believe, and we got ourselves some doors that open up to get in to serve things, but you can see I can't even open these up very well. So that's what it is. So we'll take a look at the interior here in a bit. I want to leave these up because we're going to need to take the top of this off. So this is where things get a little scary, is you got these little indentations here where you're supposed to kind of lift this up. This is hard to get off, so I have to kind of wiggle my fingers in there just to pop this loose, so it just feels a bit stiff removing this. And this is basically what we have on the top. So we've got some little happy cactus on the top that's really happy to be in a pot, and a little palm tree. This thing here just flakes right off, so you got to be careful with that, as I've had that fall off a few times when I was building. We have a treasure chest with a crystal inside. Now when I was building this, you could build this as a regular van with all of this stuff on the top. We'll set that off to the side there, and we'll take a look at the interior, and it's a bit of a understatement there because there's not a whole lot in there. Like here is the driver's area, just that little steering wheel and two places to sit, and that's pretty much about it. And in the rear here we do have some supplies. I think that's supposed to be a mushroom. It looks more like a table lamp or a bedside lamp, and a crystal and some kind of elixir thing. There's a little serving window in there, and it seems like the interior of this is a bit unfinished, and it is scaled for figures, so we're going to have to lose that, Miss Castillo. We're going to have you drive, because I think this is your van. You've got to drive it. Let's see if she does fit in there. And my reviews are crude and unscripted, so if I can't make them fit in there, we'll all know it. Like she doesn't fit in there very well. Or I can't get her to sit down. Maybe I have to take off the backpack. So let's see here. So it's not quite scaled for her. That's about as best I can get her to stay in there. Okay, so looks like she can just barely fit in there. And we're going to lose your pencil weapon, and we're going to drop you in there too. We're going to have you ride shotgun, Mateo. Okay, he fits in there okay. And We'll just have her stand up with the bow because she's probably the bad guy, I don't know. And then we got the two voodoo doll things, toss them in there. And we'll just throw the weapons in there too. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty crowded in there, but there you go. Everything does fit inside. It'd be great for storage too. Then we can just pop the top back on. Now, I wish I could do the row test, but in order to do that, you actually have to take your tires and these things off here. I'll just do a demonstration on one. You have to take this off here. Take this pin out and you have to put this in there. And these do come with the set, so you can switch it back into a regular vehicle if you choose. Now, for the sake of discussion, I'm not going to do that because the review would take so long. So if you're getting this, you have an option. You can leave it as a vehicle or turn it into a turtle vehicle. Now, for me personally, since I've been messing around with this looks cool like this. It's different. I just wish there was an easier way to attach these to the tires without have to take all that off. But nonetheless, though, it is pretty cool, and everybody and all your accessories can fit inside the van. Let's start with my build experience for the review. And I was pretty impressed with this build. It was very fun to put together. It was keeping my interest. So for me, the build experience was very pleasant. It wasn't boring, it wasn't dry. The manual was easy to follow. So I had fun putting this set together. Build quality, I'd say it's average to above average. The only thing I had fall off was this little palm tree thing on the top right here. That was probably the only fragile part. Other than that, it's not too bad. The only thing I wish that we could have done a bit on this here was have it to where you can just attach these directly to the tires instead of taking the tires off. And then have to put these tires back on and stuff like that. But other than that, not too bad for the build quality. It's playable and stuff like that, which ties right into play value. You get 5 figures, well, 3 minifigures, you get 2 small figures, 3 big figures, and a playable van with removable top. And I gotta center that back up. I didn't press this down. As you saw in the exploration, this is a bit of a challenge to get off. So just leave that on there loose, just for added play. But everything is fully accessible, so there's plenty of things to do here. So you're not gonna be shortchanged when it comes to play on this set. As for city drop-in value, you can drop the van as is with just the tires. And it looks good in a city without all this extra stuff. It looks like just some regular, maybe food vendor's van. It looks really good. So yes, this could be dropped into a city. You very rarely ever hear me say that about a dream set, but this could be dropped in a city, no problem. Just lose the head and the feet. That's pretty much what it is. Now for mod value, this set does have a lot of potential. Like you could take this van. This is a good base for maybe a camper van. There's a lot of good building techniques with this, so you can convert this to something else or use this set for parts altogether to make other creations. So that's a good positive there. Now there's one downside to the set, is that it's not a collaborative build. So only one person can build this set. Like bag 1 does some of the figures and then the chassis of the van. And then 2, 3 finish up the van, and then bags 4 and 5 do all the accessories. That's pretty much it. So you really can't build this with another friend. This is just meant to be a solo build, sadly. So my final score on this set is going to be an 8.5 out of 10. Mainly I'm dinging because it is not a collaborative build. I understand some of these cannot be. And 2, there was no brick separator. That's why we had to take some of these parts off to add the legs. There was no brick separator provided with the set. Now I know a lot of other builders who have tons of brick separators, including myself. What if this is your first set into this theme, or just your first Lego set in general? You won't have a brick separator to take these tires off to put these on. That's what I'm looking for there. There wasn't really any scuffed up parts, nothing really worth dinging points off on this model here. But for me, an 8.5 is fine for a final score. Now for the retail price of $47.99 for 434 bricks, this is what you're getting. You are getting a playable model. But for me, that price is a bit steep for what this is. If you're using this just as a van for your city, that's pretty pricey. So if you find this maybe on sale or on a clearance, it'd be better. But I just don't see it with the price on this. It just seems a bit inflated. But I want to hear what you guys and gals have to say about the set. For me, it was a pleasant build. It's just a bit too pricey, but let me know in the comments.